In today's video, we have the ultimate free course to get you selling using Amazon FBA. So firstly, welcome back to the channel. We previously did a mini course on here earlier this year, which had an amazing response. But since we released that video, we've launched so much more content which wasn't included in that video, which would be so helpful for all of our users who want to get set up and selling on Amazon FBA. So we've now extended this video course with all this extra information, so it's now just one central video. So if you are wondering why the background keeps changing or why my t-shirt keeps changing colour, that is why. Now we have time-stamped all of these videos, so obviously if there are parts you already know or bits you aren't interested in, please just skip forward to the bits of interest to you. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So what is Amazon FBA? Amazon FBA basically stands for Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon. So the FBA is the important bit there, Fulfillment by Amazon. So what does that actually mean? So it sort of is what it says on the tin, Fulfillment by Amazon. It means Amazon fulfill your products. But not only do they fulfill your products, they do a lot more than that. So they also deal with all your customer service. They deal with all the returns. So it basically means you're sending your product into Amazon's warehouse. So the concept is you arrange a shipment on your Amazon seller account. You send your product into Amazon's warehouse. They store them for you. When you sell one on Amazon, they'll then send them out to your customer. Your customer will usually receive them within 24 hours. And after they've got the item, they deal with all the after sales as well. So if the customer's got any issues, if they need to return the item, they'll deal with all that as well. So your only real job is actually sending the product into Amazon's warehouse. Now it's a great method because once you've found your product that you're going to send in, it's very hands off. Obviously, as we say, Amazon are taking care of basically everything for you. So as a business model, it's amazing because it means there's not a huge amount of work for you. Where typically with online retail, you'll be sending out the products yourself, you'll be dealing with the returns, you'll be dealing with all the customer service. Amazon are doing this all for you, and the pricing really is very reasonable for actually what you get back from Amazon. And not only are they taking care of all the back-end logistics for you, you're also getting the opportunity to win the buy box on most of the products you're selling on. So if you don't know what the buy box is, I'll just load up a screenshot now to show you where the buy box is. It's basically to buy it now, add to basket on Amazon. Only one seller gets this box, as they call it, and basically whatever seller gets this will typically get all the sales. Now, how do people get the buy box? Using Amazon's FBA service is your first way. But then after that, as long as you're using the FBA service, because obviously you're going to be competing against other sellers, typically it's who is the cheapest seller. So with the buy box going to the cheapest seller, this can sometimes mean it is a bit of a race to the bottom price rise, but this is why you'd use a tool like Profitl to analyse your deals to make sure that the deals you are buying are going to be profitable, even if the price is driving down. So what's the best method to get started with Amazon FBA? You've got probably 3 different routes you can go down. You've got arbitrage, you've got wholesale, and you've got private label. So arbitrage, this is where you're buying products from retail stores. So it might be Tesco's, might be Argos. Wholesale, this is where you're buying from wholesalers. So you're buying in bulk. Private label, this is where you're usually buying from China and you're making your own brand and putting your own brand on an item, importing it into the UK and selling it as your own brand. Now, all of them have pros and cons, but the best method for getting started in 2022 is definitely arbitrage. Now, you've probably seen some other videos about why arbitrage is a great method, but we'll just talk about it again quickly. It's basically that you don't need a huge amount of money to get started. There's not many hoops you need to jump through to get started, and it's very accessible for everybody, and we say it's sort of a stepping stone into getting into Amazon FBA. It's not as scalable as perhaps wholesale and private label, but for just getting your Amazon FBA journey started, it's a brilliant method. Now, if you have a quick look on the screen now, you can see exactly how it works. So this website here is the works, and you can buy this jigsaw puzzle for £7. Now, if we find this product on Amazon, we can see it selling for £15 and 2 pence, and that is the concept. Basically, arbitrage is where you're taken advantage of pricing differences on two separate marketplaces, and there is a huge amount of deals out there, and there's always a steady stream of deals to find. So it's not easy to find deals. It does take time. It's more of analysing, which takes time, but there are so many out there, and there's so many opportunities to find deals, and you haven't got to wait a massive amount of time, and you haven't got to be spending a huge amount of money to get started. So how easy is it to get started with FBA? I know I briefly touched on this just a second ago, but there isn't a huge amount you need to get started with Amazon FBA. You don't need a limited company. What you do need is to be registered as self-employed. If you haven't got a limited company, you need this in order to set up your Amazon seller account. So you have to set up your Amazon seller account to be able to sell on Amazon. When you're doing this, you will need to provide photo ID, bank statements, and personal information like that. Once you've got set up like that, your actual account, you're going to need a deal analyzer like Profitl to be able to analyze and check your FBA deals. There's a lot more behind the scenes than just it's cheap here, it's expensive on Amazon. You have got to check the data to make sure firstly it's selling, that the price graph looks good, that it's not gated, that it's not hazmat risks. So there is a lot more to it than just buying and selling. And thirdly, you've obviously got to consider the postage and packaging into Amazon. So you've got to think about things like boxes. You've got to think about things like tape. You'll need a printer for printing labels, and just things like that to get you started now.
So online arbitrage is the concept of buying retail items from online stores. This may be B&M, it might be Smith's, it might be on Asda, anywhere online for a cheap price, and then send them into, in this example, Amazon's warehouse, where it's selling for more money and you just keep the profit in between. So later on in this video, we're going to be going through the pros and the cons of online arbitrage. Firstly, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples so you can see for yourself how it works. So you should be able to see my screen just now and see we're on this Smith's website for this Paw Patrol Riders Interactive Pup Pad. We can buy it for £14.99. It's available for home and delivery or click and collect. Now, if we have a look at this product on Amazon, we can see that at the moment it is selling for £29.99. So we're buying it for £15, it's selling for £30 now. So the next thing we want to do is actually look at the product and analyze the data. So if we find a product here, which I believe is this one. Cool, so as we can see that this product at the moment is selling between 30 to 90 units a month, and it's making an estimated £6.84 profit per unit. And there's only one FBA seller. So the concept with this is basically you'd buy as many of these as you can. You may want to do a small test shipment beforehand. You send them into the warehouse, and if you bought 10, the principle being you'd hopefully make £6.84. Now, it's important to remember this isn't an exact science because prices can change. This is why we use things like the price graph, but please do check out my other videos where I've talked about that in more detail. So we're just going to move on to another product now, which is this Score Bunny Nano Block. It's a game exclusive and we can buy it for £4.99 on Game. If we have a look at the same product on Amazon, we can see it selling for £10.99. So you'll see what's happening here is the products are about half the price elsewhere. And you may be wondering why people would not buy them from Game, why they wouldn't be buying them from Smith's. It's purely for the convenience of Amazon Prime, and people have buying habits as well. So if we check out this product, if we just grab the ASIN just over here and we'll load it up on Profitl. So we'll put £4.99 in there. Cool, and we can see this one is, by the looks of it, it's quite a new product. It's only got 4 reviews, but it has been selling a lot, probably because it's obviously a very popular Christmas present. And on this one, the ROI isn't quite as high, but there's only one other FBA seller on this, so there's really, really low competition, and there's still a fair profit, and you don't need a huge amount of money to get started with this sort of product. So that is the concept of online arbitrage. So why is it actually good? What are the pros, what are the cons? So probably the biggest pro of online arbitrage is that you don't need a huge amount of funds to actually get started with it. Whereas with wholesale or private label, you're going to need potentially thousands to get started, especially private label. You have to make a massive upfront investment to get your first product. With online arbitrage, you really don't need a lot of money. You know, you can start with £100 quite easily on product and just keep growing. So it's very accessible in that way, and that makes it a lot less risky. As I just mentioned as well, it's a lot more accessible, and not only does this mean because of price, it also means you don't need limited company, because a lot of wholesalers will want you to have a limited company, or you don't need to be VAT registered. You don't need to make accounts to do anything. It's a lot easier to get into it. So number 3 is that there's no long wait for items. So with Amazon FBA, you've got 3 types of selling really. You've got arbitrage, you've got wholesale, and you've got private label. Now private label, you've got a couple of month wait typically on items because they're usually coming from China. Wholesale can be a bit quicker, especially if you're buying from a UK wholesaler, but they can still be quite slow depending on their stock levels, depending on how busy they are. With arbitrage, you know that you're going to get your items within a couple of days. It's just the same as buying retail orders, as if you were buying them from yourself. If you was to order them, usually within 2 to 3 days, they'll be on your door and you can get them into Amazon's warehouse, which means your cash flow is a lot better. You're turning it around so much quicker and you're not tied up huge amounts of money for such a long amount of time. And then number 4, probably the most popular reason, is that you don't have to leave your house to do it. So whereas with retail arbitrage, which is where you're going into shops or anywhere like that to try and find items at source, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to leave your bed, you don't have to leave your home, you can do it just with a computer, so it's really easy in that way. So that's all the good parts, but of course there are some bad parts. So what are they? So number 1 is the fact that there is going to be more competition. Now obviously, as I mentioned earlier in the positives, the fact it's so accessible, you don't need a huge amount of money to get started, and there isn't many hoops for you to jump through to get started. That does mean there is going to be more people doing it. And what that can mean, especially for new sellers who don't know what they're doing, the prices on some products can be driven really low. So you just have to be a little bit careful on products which have a lot of other sellers on, just to make sure that you are selling it for a profit. Number 2 negative is that you can't get ungated using these products. So if you are new to Amazon and you don't know what being gated means, it basically means some brands, some categories you can't sell in. And the only way to selling them is get approval by Amazon. Now I have done a video on this in the past, so please do check it out. I'll link it in the top right hand side of the screen so you can see it. But with retail purchases, Amazon will not ungate you for them. So the only way for you to get ungated is using a wholesaler. You cannot get ungated using retail websites anymore. So that does obviously restrict you slightly on the products you can buy. But if you use the methods in my video, then you can get ungated. So number 3 downside is probably scalability. We say arbitrage is an amazing side hustle. You know, you can earn really, really good money with it, but you can't take it to the next level like you can with especially private label. You know, this is why we always say arbitrage is sort of a stepping stone into getting into Amazon FBA. You know, it's a great way to learn the basics, and it's a great way to earn, you know, a couple of thousand a month. You know, that's quite feasible, and there's lots of people who do that. But if you do want to take it to the next level, you know, if you want to be earning 10s, 20s, 30s, thousands a month in revenue, then your best way by far is looking into private label and also wholesale as well. But that can get quite competitive, but again, that is more scalable than arbitrage. Probably one of the big questions which everyone asks when they're thinking of getting started with FBA. Now there's a lot of different answers when you research online, but I'm going to be showing you, just focusing on the arbitrage sector of FBA. Arbitrage is basically where you're buying retail products, and it's by far the most accessible way to get into Amazon FBA. The reasons being, it's got a low cost of entry. You don't need to have a registered business. You don't need to be investing a huge amount in stocks, and it's just a really, really easy way, sort of the first step in your FBA journey. So the first thing you're going to need is obviously the equipment. With FBA, you are going to be dealing with the products. It's not dropshipping or anything like that. You're actually going to be dealing with the products, so you do need equipment in order to arrange shipments, labeling up, and things like that. So the first thing you'll probably need is a printer. Now you may or may not already have one. If you do, then obviously this is an expense which isn't going to affect you. If you don't have one, you can easily start with just a standard printer. You can pick one, a fairly decent one, up for about £60. You are best off having a proper label printer as well, But when you're first starting out, you don't need that. You can do without it. Obviously, as you start to invest a bit more in what you're doing, that's the point where you sort of invest in getting a label printer. Next up, you're obviously going to need the components for actually packaging up the items. So with FBA and with Arbitrage specifically, usually what you'll do is you'll go to a retail shop, might be Sainsbury's for example, and you'll go pick up the items you're going to send into Amazon. When you've got the items, you're going to need to actually package them up, label them up, maybe put barcodes on them, make sure they're all secure, and then send them off to Amazon. Now, there's two types of arbitrage. You've got retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is where you're actually going into shops and finding the items. Online arbitrage is where you're doing it online and you're ordering the products online. If you're doing online arbitrage, then most of the stuff you need is already included. So obviously, like the box, you can just reuse the same box again, and all the protection, you know, if you need bubble wrap or anything like that, that's already going to be there. So it's only really if you're doing retail arbitrage, if you're going to need things like packaging and things like that. Now, of course, you're going to need tape, and you might need poly bags to secure the items, or if you're doing multi-packs as well. Now, when you're first starting out, you can easily get, you know, you don't need a huge amount. £100 is probably enough for boxes, you know, a few boxes, tape, bags and things like that. You don't need to be spending any more than £100. Obviously, once you've got the hang of FBA a little bit, you can start ordering more supplies in. So it's a bit easier for you because obviously, especially if you're doing retail arbitrage, the boxes, you know, you might need different size boxes. So for the equipment side, we'd say you can easily start with between £150 to £200, obviously depending on what you've got and the type of selling you're going to be doing. So the next thing you need to consider is your Amazon seller account. Now, we've got two options here which you can pick from. One is free, one you have to pay for, and we'd recommend doing a paid for one. The free one is the individual seller account. You basically get the account for free, but what it means is you're paying an extra fee for every single item you sell. Now, if you've got big aspirations with FBA, you know, you're definitely better off going for a professional account right away. With a professional account, you pay a monthly fee of £25 plus a VAT, so it's £30 a month, and within that, you don't have to pay any extra fees. That is all included. We'd 100% recommend this is the one to go for. So then you're going to need a way of analysing your FBA deal. So the big key thing with FBA, especially if you've seen some of my previous videos, is about analysing your deals. This is so important because it basically makes sure that what you're sending in is going to sell. You're going to sell it for the right price. You're going to sell as many as you want, and you're not going to be getting undercut or competing with loads of sellers like that. So you are going to need a deal analyzer. Now, you may or may not know about us. We are Profitl. Profitl is a deal analyzer. If you did want to use us, we charge £30 a month for our deal analyzer. Within that, you get a Chrome extension, a mobile app, and a web version as well for you to analyze your FBA deals. We give you data like estimated sales, price graphs, all the key points you need to analyze your data to make sure it is a good FBA deal. Now, there are competitors as well who, of course, you're more than welcome to use, but we'd 100% recommend to use Profitl. You may or may not decide on using a Dealfinder service as well, so that is another part of Profitl. We have Dealfinder by Profitl. This is basically our collection of products which we accumulate and put in one central place for you to analyze them. So we're basically looking for potential deals on the internet and putting them all in one place. Now, this is not a necessity. You do not have to use one of these. You can find your own deals, but when you're starting out, it can make sense, especially if you're not sure where you're looking for. But out of these two, the only things that you do 100% need is a deal analyzer, because you have to be able to analyze your FBA deal. So your costing for this is, if you're just going for a deal analyzer, it's going to be about £30 a month. If you're going to want a Dealfinder platform as well, that's going to be about another £30 a month. So it's going to be between £30 and £60 a month, so you can sort of source and analyze your FBA deals. And so the final part is the products. Now, how much do you spend on products? This is an impossible question to answer, because obviously it all depends on your situation. So we're just going to give you the advice on what we recommend to getting started with, and obviously we're going to give you a bit of a range so you can decide for yourself where you want to go for the higher end or the lower end. Now, I'm just going to share my screen with you now. I'm just going to run you through a couple of products so you can see the sort of things you can buy starting out. So the first one you can see is this Canterbury Lion supporter spool. Now, this is £7, and I'm just going to load up Profitl and show you the data on this. I'm just going to grab the ASIN from Amazon. So you'll see it selling on Amazon for £17.35. So we just put that in there. And if we have a look at this product just along here, so we can see it's selling between 30 to 90 a month. Now it has got 10 other FBA sellers, but what we'd have a quick look at is how much stock they've got. But we're just going to look at this on the surface for now. So we can see basically that if we was to send this in, and if we were selling it for £17.35, the estimated profit per unit is £4.16. So let's imagine we bought 10 units. If we bought 10 units, that's going to return us £40.16 in profit. Buying 10, that's going to cost us £70. So plus your investment, so your profit plus your investment, that's going to give you a return of £111 from your initial investment of £70. So, just from this one product, you've managed to turn £70 into over £100. And, this is the concept of FBA and why it is so powerful. So I'm just going to show you one more as well. So this is on the toy shop, and it's a paw mission vehicle freewheeler. So if we just grab the ASIN from Amazon, this is currently selling for, or it's currently £6 to buy. If we just load up Profitl, and it's currently selling for £13.49 on Amazon. So you can see it's selling a bit more than the other one, 90 to 180 a month, and an estimated profit per unit. So again, if we just imagine we bought 10 units, that's going to cost us £60. That's going to return us £23.90 plus our initial investment. That's going to be a return of £83.90. So on either of them products, from investing under £100, we are getting a return. Now it's very important to remember that the figures you see here, that is not 100% you're going to get that much profit. Obviously the price can change. You don't know how long you're going to have selling for. This is why it's so important to have a deal analyzer, so you can analyze your FBA deals. Now there are a few other costs involved as well, such as sending the products into Amazon as well. This isn't hugely expensive, and it won't eat into your profit too much. And obviously if you've picked a slower seller, you are going to have storage fees as well. So when you send your products into Amazon, you do have to pay to keep your products there. But what you can see there is when you're first starting out, you really don't need to be spending thousands of pounds just to get started. This is one of the big things where people seem to misunderstand Amazon, that you've got to spend thousands to get started. That is not the case. Spending product, you can easily do it for £100, not a problem whatsoever. Obviously, the more money you have to spend, the more money you're going to make back. But what a lot of people do and what a lot of people start with is, they'll start with one product line. Once they've sold all of them out, they'll then buy another product line, investing their profits, and just keep reinvesting their profits. And what can happen is within a year, you can have a really large amount of stock and have a really successful business. So to summarize, your costs, they're going to be £150 to £200 on equipment, £30 a month on Amazon, £30 to £60 on your subscriptions to your deal analyzer and any software you need, and £100 to £300 on products. Now obviously you can spend more on products than that if you like, but getting started, £100 to £300, you can £300 to get free products. So that's a price range of £310 at the bottom to £590 up the top. Now again, another thing is if you've got things like printers already, if you've got packaging already, that's going to cut your costs down as well. So you can do this quite reasonably between £300 and £400.
So now we're going to talk about how we actually set up your Amazon account. So this is what you'll use to actually sell on Amazon. You must have one of these to sell. It's different from a Prime account, but I'll be walking you through the steps on getting set up. Now there are a few things you're going to need. You're going to need a business and contact address. This could be your home address, not a problem. A phone number, a UTR number. That means unique taxpayer reference, I believe. A credit or debit card. And identity details, so that's either a driving license, passport, and you'll also need things like a bank statement or something like that. So the first thing to do is head to Seller Central, so that's sellercentral.amazon.co.uk, and you'll be taken to this page just here. Now we need to set up the account, so you've obviously got to add your name, your email, and your password. We'd recommend to use a different account to your, if you've got a Prime account, if you've got a buying Prime account, because you can use the same one and just log in through that, but it's best just to keep it all separate, just so it's a bit easier for you email wise, and just to make everything a bit clearer. So once you put in all your details in there, this is where we're going to start adding in the business details. So next up, we're going to start putting in all the business details. So if you're using a limited company, if you've already got a limited company, then you'll put in all your limited company information in here. We're going to be showing it as a sole trader. That's why you need a UTR number, just because it's the easiest method really for getting set up. So the first thing you do is obviously pick your business location. So for us, it's the UK. Next, you need to put your business type. So you need to put in sole proprietor. This is basically the same as sole trader. I'm not really sure why they word it like this, but sole proprietor, that means you are a sole trader. Your business name, this can be whatever you want to call your business. If you're already selling on a platform, if you've already got a setup for selling online, this is your trading name here. Or if you're brand new, then you just need to pick your business name, the name you're going to run by basically for selling online. Now, next up, we need to add the information on the UTR number. So as I said earlier, the UTR number is a unique taxpayer reference. It's a 10-digit number which you'll find on documents from HMRC, such as on a tax return. Now, if you don't have a UTR number, then you're going to need to get one. You need to go to gov.uk/register for self-assessment. They're really easy to get. It may take can take a few weeks to get it, but it's not difficult to get whatsoever. So once you've got that, you need to add your UTR number in here and fill in the rest of your business address, your business details. So as I say, if your chances are you're not going to have a unit or an office or anything like that, so this would just be your home address, and then you're going to need to verify your phone number. So just at the bottom you see you can either pick a text message or a phone call. So enter your phone number in here, wait for the code to come through, and then verify your number. Okay, so next up is personal information about you and ID. So you're going to need to provide proof of identity and proof of address to create the account. So firstly, you're going to need to put in your country of citizenship. So obviously if this is the UK, then your country of birth, your date of birth, now a proof of identity. So easiest thing to use is to use your passport. So you need to put in your passport number in here, and then put in the date of expiry and the country of issue. Now, if your address on your passport is different, then you can add that in here. If not, you can just use residential address. You can see it ticked on the screen as well, same with phone number. Okay, now the next step is the payment information. So as I mentioned earlier, you have got to pay for this. It's £25 a month plus VAT. There is a free option, but I would strongly recommend to use the proper version from the start and just go for it. With the free option, you're basically paying an extra fee per item. So if you've got any aspiration to do well with FBA, you're definitely better off just going for the paid option right away. Okay, now step 8 is your store information. This is basically what a customer is going to see if they click on your account on Amazon. So firstly, for store name, this is your display name. So this is what the customer will see. The business is called. This can be different from your business trading name. If you want to call it something else, you can do that. Most people just do the same thing. Now you're going to see 3 questions that you need to answer. So do you have universal product codes for all your products? And the answer is yes. So that's basically a EAN number. It's the barcode basically, because you're going to be selling products which already exist. Then it's always going to be yes, basically. Next up, are you the manufacturer, brand owner or agent or representative of the brand for any of the products you want to sell on Amazon? Ignore this screenshot. It says yes. You need to tick no. Unless you're doing private label. So private label is where you're branding up your own products. You'll need to register barcodes and things like that. You're not going to be doing that. You're just going to be selling products from other brands already. So you need to click no. So just ignore that screenshot there. And then finally, do you own government registered trademark for the branded products you want to sell on Amazon? So no on this one. Again, you don't own any of the trademarks. That would only be if you're doing private label or your own brand and you've got the proper trademark already. Okay, step 8. Now there's some more information to identify yourself. Annoyingly, Amazon do make you jump through quite a few hoops to get set up on Amazon FBA. It is always worth it, but this is just to make it a great platform really for people buying on it. You know, they don't want just anyone selling it. You know, they don't want it to be easy to set up accounts. They want proper sellers. You know, so definitely don't see that as a bad thing. That's just to make it a better platform. So the information you need to add again, as you can see, is your name, date of birth, your identity data, your identity document. You're just ticking all this. An additional document. So this will be a bank statement is the easiest way, and then your business address. Now, once you've confirmed all that, and once you've supplied this information, it will usually take Amazon around 2 days to confirm it. Now, there is a chance that Amazon may ask you to take a video call. Now, if you do get this, don't be alarmed. This is normal. It does happen to a lot of people, and it is becoming more and more frequent.
So last year, Amazon introduced a new method of onboarding customers where once you've signed up for your account and you've sent off all your documents, you have to have a live call with Amazon themselves, and they'll just check over all your documents and make sure that you are who you say you are. So Amazon introduced this mainly to reduce fraud and the number of people who weren't following their terms and conditions. But it can only be seen as a good thing because it does reduce the number of bad sellers selling on their platform. So what will happen is once you have set up your Amazon account, you will get the option to book a live call with Amazon themselves at a certain date and time which you can pick. So what will you actually need for the call? Before the call, you want to be as prepared as possible because you want it going as smoothly as possible. So basically what you want to have is all the personal documents that you uploaded when you were setting your Amazon seller account up. You want to have them at hand. So if you uploaded your passport and bank statement, for example, you'll want to have this with you when you're on the call. So what will actually happen on the call? So the call is super easy. First up, all they'll do is ask you to verify yourself. Then Amazon will ask you to start actually holding up the documents. So you'll need to show your passport next to your face so they can just make sure that the person on the passport is matching you. They may also get you to flick through some of the pages of your passport just to make sure it is real and it's not a fake passport or just a photocopy of someone else's passport. Other than that, that's usually all you have to do. So the call usually lasts between 15 and 20 minutes, but you'll probably only spend about 5 minutes of that actually doing anything. The rest of the time is just waiting for the Amazon rep to verify everything. So do you need to be scared? No, it really is that easy. A lot of people think Amazon are going to try and catch you out, but that isn't what it's about at all. We've never heard of any of our customers having any issues with this call. As long as you provide the correct and accurate information, you won't have any problems at all. So once you've done the call, how long does it take to get verified? So this can vary. We've heard of it being instant, but we've also heard of it taking a few days. So just be patient, and what will eventually happen is you will get an email from Amazon just to confirm that your account is registered and they're happy with all the information which you've provided to them.
Okay, now your Amazon account is set up. The next part is actually configuring your Amazon settings. So there's only a few settings we want to change, and the reason we're doing this is to turn off the ability to sell internationally and using the FBA service. And the reason we do that is basically because if you don't turn it off, it will be left on, and what will happen is you'll start selling products into Europe, and you're going to be getting charged an insane amount for FBA fees. And that's a very common mistake for people when they get started. So this is why you want to turn it off straight away. So the first thing you want to do is head over to your Amazon account and head to the top right where it says log out, and you want to click account info, as you can see on the screen just here on the screenshot. Now, the next bit we want to do is under listing status, select going on holidays. So just click that just there. Now, make all the countries listed inactive except for Amazon.co.uk. It should look like the screenshot that you're seeing on screen. And then click save. Now, the next thing you want to do is we want to remove the EU marketplaces. So basically on each country, you're going to have to go through and just click remove connection. So if you have a look at the screenshot, which is just popping up on the screen here, you can see on the country, it says remove connection. And then you're going to get this little pop-up here, and you want to select delete list. This is only if you've already got products, but it will say delete listings in the target marketplace, and this will basically remove your listings from sale in that country. And following all them steps, that will get all your products taken off European marketplaces and worldwide marketplaces, or if you've not listed yet, then it will stop happening in the first place. And as I say earlier, it's just when you're starting out, obviously fees wise, you want to be saving as much money as possible. As you get more experience, you can look into starting using the pan-European service where you're selling into Europe, but it is very, very expensive. So it's definitely something to do a little bit more research into before deciding to go down that route.
I am on the Profitl website. Now I'm just going to log into my account up here, and we'll just head over to the track page. So this is our deal analyzer. Now, most people use our Chrome extension or our mobile app, but you can also use it on our website as well. But I'll just show you it on the Chrome extension and just run you through all the data points so you get an understanding of how it all works. So you get all the key information you need to analyze your FBA deals, the estimated monthly sales, the reviews on the product, your FBA fees, referral fees, estimated VAT, the break-even point, return on investment percentage, your estimated profit per unit, the sales rank on Amazon. You get 3 price graph options. So there's a 90-day, a 180-day, and a 365-day price graph. The number of other FBA sellers, the number of if Amazon are on the listing, how many FBM sellers, the lowest offers for each of them sellers. And you also get the warnings here. So IP risk, that's intellectual property risk, just means that you may need to be a little bit careful about selling this brand. Hazmat, that just means it's a dangerous goods. It might be something like with a lithium battery or nail varnish, for example, and then oversize as well. And then just below you'll see the notes section, so you can write notes, give it a rating, and then you can save your deal, and then you can review all your save scans just over here in your save scan section. Now this is better for retail arbitrage really, so if you're going into shops and scanning your deals, you may not want to buy your deals there and then, you may want to go home and do some further analysis. So with this, it means you can write your notes down about the product and you can further analyze or try and find it elsewhere, for example. Now all this data is exactly the same on our mobile app as well, so that's for retail arbitrage. The only difference is that you get a barcode scanner, whereas this is for online arbitrage. So on here you get a search feature where you can use this on any website in the world. You can just search for the product. It means you haven't got to keep switching between Amazon or trying to find it elsewhere. You can literally use this on any website in the world. So now I'll show you how Dealfinder works. So if we just head over to the Dealfinder tab here. So what Dealfinder is, it's basically thousands of potential FBA deals in one central place. So what we was trying to achieve with this was put all available deals or all available potential deals in one central place on the internet. So you haven't got to go through B&Q and then Homebase and then Tesco and so on. All of these potential deals are on the internet in one central place. So the way it works is we scrape a huge amount of websites and we're looking for pricing differences. So if a product is £10 on Argos, for example, and that same product is £25 on Amazon, that will go in Dealfinder as a potential deal. So it's very important to remember that Dealfinder isn't a checked deal service. We don't check any of these deals. That's not what we're trying to achieve with this. They are all potential deals only, and it just saves you time having to switch between all these websites. Now we do an update on this twice a week, so it gets updated on Tuesdays and Fridays. It's currently Thursday today when I'm recording this video, so there'll be another one out tomorrow. And we put a notification in our Discord when it gets updated. It's usually in the afternoon. But let me get started with actually trying to find some FBA deals and then also using Profitl and how we'd analyze it as well. So I'm going to do this as if I was a new FBA seller. Obviously a lot of these products I would be gated for. Now, if you are new, being gated can hold you up quite a lot. I have done a video in the past, which I'll just link in the corner of the screen, which shows how to get ungated. Getting ungated really does open up your FBAs. So obviously being gated, there's a lot of categories I'm going to have to avoid and a lot of brands I'm going to have to avoid. Toys and games, always difficult when first starting out. A lot of them are gated. Health and personal care, grocery, most of these will be gated. Electronics as well. Pet, I always like to do. Quite often can find some good deals in here. So if we head over to pet, and I'll just firstly, before we start looking for deals, just show you all the good data you get. So you get a link to the Amazon image just here. This is the name and the link to the product where you can buy it from. This one here is the Amazon name. Here is a link to the Amazon listing with the ASIN. This is the estimated monthly sales. This is the cost you'll be buying it for. This is the Amazon price. This is all at the time of scraping. Obviously these can change slightly. This is your estimated profit per unit, and this is the sales rank. Now, You can also export these as a CSV. If you prefer to do them in CSV format, you can do that here just by clicking export CSV. But let's start looking for FBA deals. So Little Locker, I'm pretty sure that is an IP risk, so we'll just skip that one for now. But if we have a quick look at this one just here, so this Nature Vet Breath Aid is 70 soft chews, buying it for £10. On Amazon at the moment for £18.75. So what we're usually looking for is trying to get about double the price on these two prices. So almost fair, £10, selling for £18.75. So let's load up the two products, or load up the purchase link and the Amazon link. Cool, so it's £10.38 at the moment, so that's great. And it's currently selling on Amazon for £18.78, so that is great. So that looks really positive. So there's two ways to analyze the FBA deal. We can either do it on the Profitl website, or we can use a Chrome extension. I'll just show you how both work. So if we click this scan button just here, and I'll just close the extension just here, you'll see it pre-fills the ASIN, pre-fills the price, so it's really easy to use. You just click calculate, and just like that, just in a second, that will load up the data. Now, I do prefer to use the Chrome extension personally, but obviously it's totally optional. I've just spend more time myself using the Chrome extension, so I just like the way it works. But we'll just click calculate on the Chrome extension, and we'll start analyzing on here instead. So let's have a look at all the data. So the information we've got here, key information just here. Estimated monthly sales, we know that already, 60 to 120 a month. Reviews, 2,500 reviews, 3.5 stars, so not the best, but that's absolutely fine. You know, Amazon FBA product sale basically. Estimated FBA fee, £2.33. Estimated referral fee, £2.30. Estimated VAT, 93 pence. So the VAT here, that's the VAT on these two fees. Amazon don't display their VAT on the fees, so just bear that in mind. Break even point, so if we are buying this item for £10.23 with these fees, so the FBA fee, referral fee and the VAT, we must sell this at £15.78 in order to get our money back. Now, return on investment, 29%. This is perhaps a little bit low for us. Ideally, we'd want higher than that, but if you're a new seller and you're just trying to get the ball moving, then not the end of the world. The nice thing about this one is there's only one other FBA seller on the listing. Can't see any issues with IP risk or hazmat. Sometimes with one FBA seller, you just have to be a little bit careful, but by the looks of it, this one is fine. The FBA seller isn't linked to the brand. We have to be careful just for private label products where you're not actually allowed to sell them, and then you'll get a violation on your account. So you just need to be a little bit careful. And then the key part of the data is this price graph just here. And we use this for two reasons. Firstly, just to confirm it's selling. So we use this sales rank line here to confirm it's selling. Now, typically the drops indicate sales. It's not an exact science, there's many things which affect it, but we can see from the movement in this line that this is selling plenty. So nothing to worry about there. Obviously, the lower the sales rank is as well, the more it's selling. And then the next line is the buy box line. So we mainly use this just to try and minimize our risk of getting undercut. So over the last year, the average price would average out about £18. So that's absolutely fine. It's actually been selling for more. There has been a big drop there, but that doesn't look like anything to worry about. It looks like it was only for a day. You know, since October last year, it's been selling, or since November last year, it's been selling for the same price it has been now. Has obviously been cheaper before. Because that was quite a while ago, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But the profit isn't massive. However, for more experienced FBA sellers, it would definitely be worth sending in a few units for this, because there is a high chance of you know, making good sales. We'd just match the buy box. We wouldn't try and beat this price, but just go for the same price as the current FBA seller. We wouldn't even try and compete with them. Okay, so we found one not too bad product. We'll now head back over to pets and see if we can find another one. And I've spotted actually this one, which looks quite good. B&M is always a good website. The only downside with B&M is you have to actually go in and buy the products from in store, but that's not the end of the world. You know, if you're in a town or anything like that, it's quite easy to do. And it means there can be less competition as well, because not as many people want to be doing that. So B&M and Amazon, will just load it up. So it's £4 on B&M, £11.31 on Amazon, so that's looking really positive. So then we'll just click scan, and we'll just use the Chrome extension again, like so. Cool, so 30 to 60 sales a month, 20 reviews, so probably a newer product. FBA fee, £2.33, referral fee, £1.38, VAT is 74, break-even points, £8.46, which is good, and return on investment, 71%, which is really, really good. So that's really promising. Estimated profit per unit is £2.85. 9 FBA sellers, so that is on the high side. What we would do is we would, in this on product like this, we'd just check how much stock the other FBA sellers have. Not a deal breaker. Obviously, you don't want to be competing with FBA sellers with a huge amount of stock, because chances are they'll be buying it for cheaper, so they've got more room for movement on price, and they've got more online as well. I have done a video in the past where I show how to check the stock level, so I'll just link that in the corner as well. But let's load up the price graph just here. So firstly, we can see that it's definitely selling. The sales rank line, lots of movement, not selling a huge amount, but definitely selling, which is great. Now the buy box line, we can see it has been cheaper, so it's gone through periods. It's probably been about £9. £9 here, obviously at the higher end of its price range. But if we take an average along here, it's probably, you know, just above £11, so not bad whatsoever. Has even been higher before. So on this type of product, we just match the buy box again and just follow the lines. Use Amazon's free repricer just to set our base, probably about £11. You know, you could go a little bit lower. Obviously 71% ROI is really high. Ideally, you know, 30% above, 30% and above is great. So getting 71% is great. It means we have got movement to go down. So that is just 2 deals I found in the space of 10 minutes using Profitl and Dealfinder. Now obviously I've been doing this for quite a while, so please don't think that it's always going to be that easy. You know, the thing is about deal finding, it does take time to learn, you know the websites to look, the brands to look at, and so on. But as with anything, the more work you put in, the more persistent you are, the easier it becomes and the better results you have. So the first website we have is Home Bargains. Now Home Bargains is good for both online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. Obviously they've got quite a lot of stores, so you can go in and find products in there as well. This product which we've got here, which I'm just going to share my screen, it's a Peppa Pig bubble party machine. This was £7.99. Now when we put this in our deal of the day, I'll just load up the data just here. We can see it's selling for £21.95. It had really good sales. It was selling between 90 to 180 a month, so really good sales, and it was making a really good profit per unit and a really high ROI. So its profit per unit was £6.93, and it was making an ROI of 87%. Now most people only aim for 30%, so 87% is really good. Now there probably is definitely room for movement on this price dropping down, but chances are that will start to come down. But when you've got a profit like this, it does leave you a lot more options and a lot more flexibility, and makes you feel a lot more secure when you're actually buying it. So the only downside of this product was the fact that there was 9 other FBA sellers, but because we've got such a high profit margin on this, straight up, it gives us a lot more flexibility when there's a lot of other sellers on the listing. So next up we have the website called Zoo Plus. Now if you've not heard of Zoo Plus before, you may not have done. They sell pets items basically, so they've got a great range of items for pets, dogs, cats, top brands as well. They're often running discounts or cheaper items compared to where you can get them elsewhere. So this product we found was this Hunter stainless steel food bowl. Now at the time of putting this in deal of the day, it was selling for £15.01, and it was this one here, so we could buy it for £5.79. Now it wasn't selling a huge amount, but the nice thing about this one was that there was really low competition, so there's only one other FBA seller on the listing, and again it had a really high ROI, 73%, and it made £4.22 profit per unit. So the third one on our list is Dunelm. Now this product is now sold out, but it wasn't at the time. Now we could be buying it for £12, as you can see here, and it was selling on Amazon at the time for £26 and 60 pence. Now again, this was a really good one. It had decent sales. It had a ROI of 56% and estimated profit per unit of £6.72. And there was only 4 other FBA sellers. And Dunelm is a really great website. Really, there's always a lot of homeware items, especially. And again, you can do both online arbitrage and retail arbitrage with Dunelm because they've got quite a lot of stores, and they've got such a large amount of product lines. You do really have quite a lot of opportunities to find online arbitrage deals on this website. So next up we have Morrisons, and I'm sure you'll know about Morrisons. Now Morrisons don't just sell grocery items, which you may think they mostly sell. They have a huge variety of products. So this product, for example, is a Lego item. So Lego Friends Heart Lake City Hair Salon, and we could get it for £10.50 with the offer. Now at the time of putting this in deal of the day, it was selling for £23.99, so again a really good profit. It wasn't selling a huge amount, only 5 to 30 a month, but again, because the profit was so good, it's definitely worth having a look at. There is quite a few FBA sellers on this listing, but you know, the nice thing about Morrison's, again, because they've got such a huge amount of stock lines, you get a lot of options for finding products. So whether it's items like this, you know, in toys, you know, they've got a lot of really good grocery items, especially looking at multi-pack buys as well. There's a lot of opportunity to bundle products together and then sell them on Amazon FBA. So next on the list we have M&M Direct. Now M&M Direct have a great range of sports items. They do have a lot of clothing, and typically we say to stay away from clothing only because the return rates can be very high, as you can imagine. But M&M Direct have a really good range of sports items like this. So there was this Nike bottle which we could buy for £3.99. In fact, we can still buy it. At the time of putting this in deal of the day, it was selling for £13. So the return on investment on this one was over 100%, and the sales were loads as well. So it's selling between 180 to 360 a month. And on top of all of that, there was only 2 other FBA sellers at the time. So if you sent this in with them sales and that lack of competition as well, with that profit, you know, you'd have a really good opportunity to make a lot of money just on that one product alone. So next up we have Lego. Now the nice thing about Lego is they're often running discounts. So definitely go and check out their discounted section. There's always really good opportunities there to find arbitrage deals. This product we've got today is this Lego goldfish. Now we could buy this for £13.49 at the time, and it was selling for £24.49 and selling between 30 to 90 a month. Now this deal here probably wasn't one of the best ones out there, mainly because the profit, the return on investment is under 30%, and there's quite a lot of other FBA sellers on this one. So 12 FBA sellers, that's probably too many. Obviously you can check their stock levels, and if all of them FBA sellers only have a few lines in, you could go for it. But the problem is, the more FBA sellers you have on the listing, and obviously the more competition you're going to have, and often the more inexperienced sellers you have, so it can end up being, the price can end up driving down, which obviously you want to stay away from. But as I say, Lego does have such a large amount of products, so you know, if it wasn't this one, there is a lot of products which you can find where the competition isn't as high, and there's a lot of profit to be made. So now we have Sports Direct. Sports Direct, as I'm sure you know, has a great range of sports lines. They have a massive catalogue of products, so there's always opportunity to find deals on here. This one which we found was this Lonsdale barrel bag. It was the grey one, it's just one size, but we can get it for £5. Now when we sent this into deal of the day, it was selling for £12.05, and it was selling 30 to 90 units a month. ROI was 41%, estimated profit per unit £2.04, and there was 5 FBA sellers on this one. So 5 FBA sellers, that's absolutely fine, as long as it's not, you know, like Amazon, who aren't on the listing on this one, and the FBA sellers haven't got a huge amount of stock, and as long as you're analysing the price graph as well to make sure they've not been massively lower, we would go for this one on 5 other FBA sellers. And as I say, Sports Direct, because they've got such a massive catalogue, there's a lot of opportunities to find good products on here. So finally, we have the website Florations. Now, the chances are you haven't heard of this website. They're only really good for one brand, I would say, and that is Jellycat. So if you don't know what Jellycats are, they're basically a range of small toys. They have a massive amount of different toys they do, and they're insanely popular on Amazon. And Florations always have them at really good prices. Now this product we've got here is now out of stock, but at the time we could get it for £9.85, and it was selling on Amazon for £18.99. It wasn't selling a huge amount, only 5 to 30 a month, but there is so many Jellycat deals to be found. You know, if you're new to Amazon FBA and you wanted to get started, this brand is a great one to get started with, because for some reason the pricing differences on Florations compared to Amazon are always massively different, so there's always massive opportunity to make really good money just from this one brand alone. Okay, so the first website we have is Wayfair. Wayfair have a fantastic variety of products in so many categories, and there's also often really good discounts on this website. So you should now be able to see my screen, and I'm just showing you this product which went into deal of the day. So it was this retro wear 20 ounce highball glass set of 4. At the time of sending this into deal of the day, we could buy this for $11.99. It is still actually $11.99. You should see the Profitl data on the screen now. At the time, it was selling on Amazon for $32.99. Really good sales. So this one was selling 150 to 360 units a month. Return on investment was 54%, so that's really healthy. Estimated profit per unit of $651 profit per unit. And with only 4 other FBA sellers, there wasn't too much competition. So that does mean with these sales of 150 up to 360 a month, and with the estimated profit of $6.51, that would give us a profit range of $976 to $2,343. Now, it is very important to take them figures with a pinch of salt. Obviously, there would be more competition. You wouldn't be able to get as much stock as that. And there is a chance that price would come down as well, but we hope that just shows the possibilities of selling on Amazon FBA to get that high profits on a retail site. It is quite incredible, really. So next up, we have the website Best Buy, and this website, again, massive catalog of products, lots of home and technology products. You should now be able to see my screen, but we found this Marvel Spider-Man Game of the Year for PlayStation 4. At the time of sending this into Deal of the Day, it was $19.99. It still is $19.99, saving $20 on this product. On Amazon at the time, it was selling for $34.49. Really good reviews on this product, so it's 5-star rated with 675 reviews. Really high sales, so this was selling 720 to 1,350 units a month. But the return on investment wasn't quite as high, so only 23%. Estimated profit per unit of $466, and there was slightly higher competition than what we would usually go for on this product. But the nice thing about Best Buy is that there are so many products like this out there, and many of them with much higher profits. So again, if we look at the profit range on the sales of 720 up to 1,350 and the profit of $466, that would give us a profit range of 3,211 all the way up to $6,021. Okay, so the next website we have is Viva. Not 100% sure if I have pronounced that right, but this is a great website, lots of random products. You may not have heard of this one, but they've got a good range of arts and crafts, tools, electrical, and they do have really good prices. So again, if you now check my screen, and we found this electric press panini maker, and we can buy it on this website for $23.55. At the time of sending this into Deal of the Day, it was selling on Amazon for $69.99. Sales of 60 to 150 units a month, and it had great product reviews, so it was 4.5-star rated with 372 reviews. Return on investment on this one was 105%, so really high, and an estimated profit of $24.79. And the nice thing about this product was there's only 2 other FBA sellers, so not much competition. Great sales, great reviews, great profit, a really good product all round. So if we look at the profit range on this one, with the sales of 60 to 150 units a month and the profit of $24.79 per unit, we would be looking at a profit range of 1,487 all the way up to $3,718. And as I have mentioned before, please do take that with a slight pinch of salt, because obviously there are so many variables which can affect this. Okay, next up we've got the website Walmart, and I'm sure you're expecting this one. But when a website has this many products, there is always going to be potential arbitrage deals on there. So if you check my screen again now, this product we found was this genuine Dell battery. We can buy this for $55.99 at the moment. When we actually sent this into Deal of the Day, it was $47.84, so the profit was slightly better back then, but it would still work just now. It was selling on Amazon at the time at $115 with sales of 90 to 210 a month. 4-star rated with 21 reviews, return on investment of 85%, so really good return on investment, and a whopping $40.47 profit per unit, so such a high profit, and only 1 other FBA seller. Now, looking at the graph, it does look like this product could go cheaper, but there is so much scope for price movement on this. It's a total no-brainer if you are engaged in it. So if we look at the profit range on this one, with the sales of 90 to 210 a month and the profit of $40.47, that would give us a profit range of 3,640 all the way up to 8,498. Now, obviously, you wouldn't be able to actually get that profit because you wouldn't be able to get that much stock. But with a profit this high, even if you're selling just a few of them, you can make really good money just from one product alone. Next up is Barnes & Nobles, and yes, this is another mainstream website. However, they do have a great range of products, specifically toys and games. We'd probably stay away from the books, but toys and games, there are some really good potential arbitrage deals on here. So this product we found is this Priorities Party game, which we can buy for £19.99 at the moment. This was the same price as what you could buy it for when we sent it into Deal of the Day. At the time of sending it in, it was selling on Amazon for $44.90. estimated monthly sales of 30 to 90 units a month. Really good review, so 5-star rated with 92 reviews, and that's obviously a good thing because it means you're not going to get too many returns, hopefully. Return on investment was 53% and an estimated profit per unit of $10. So a really good product. Many free FBA sellers when we sent this into Deal of the Day. So if we look at our profit range on this one, with our sales of 30 to 90 units a month and a profit of $10.50, that would give us a range of $315 up all the way up to $945. So the last website we have is Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware have a great range of tools and DIY products. Now this product we found was this Murphy hardwood floor cleaner. We can currently buy it for $4.59. At the time we was buying it for $4.99, and it was selling on Amazon for $20 with sales of 60 to 180 units a month. Return on investment was 105% with an estimated profit per unit of $4.80, and great reviews on this one again, so 4.5-star rated with 36 reviews. Now with the sales of 60 to 180 units a month and this profit of $4.80 per unit, that would give us a profit range of $288 all the way up to $864. Knowing how to successfully analyze your FBA deals is the key to becoming successful on Amazon. If you don't know how to do this, it can be a real struggle and you can quite easily lose money. It is really easy to do, however, and following these 6 basic steps, you can't really go wrong. So I'm going to be showing you these steps on an actual live deal. I'm just going to share my screen with you now, and you should be able to see these Hot Wheels CKJ 81 Star Wars toy. It's currently selling on Amazon for £11.99. Now we can buy this toy for £4.99 on the website A1 Toys. So on the surface, this looks like a really good buy. So the first step that we need to look at is just the core data really, which is firstly profit. So let's head back over to Amazon here and we'll load up the Profitl Chrome extension. So we're buying it for £4.99. So step one is it profitable? So this product here is making £2 per unit. If we're buying it for £4.99 and we're selling it for £11.99 with these fees just here, we've got roughly £2 profit. Now most sellers aim for about 30%, so we've got a bit of leeway there as well. Obviously the higher you can get, the better. But this first part here with how profitable is it, yes, this ticks that box. So the second basic part is it actually selling? So yes, we can see that this one is selling between 30 to 90 units a month at the moment. Now some people will just use the Amazon sales rank here just to confirm this. Now we know this isn't a good category, it's in the toys and games category here, but using this you can see that it's estimated sales between 30 to 90 a month. Now what we will do is we will just double check this data using the price graph, so we get the option of a 90-day, 180-day and a 365-day price graph. So next up we need to have a quick look to see if we actually can sell it. What does that actually mean? It means, are we gated in it or not? Now if you don't know what being gated means, that basically means that you're not allowed to sell it without permission from Amazon. So there's 2 types of gating on Amazon. You've either got brand gating or category gating. Now I have done a video on this previously where I showed how to get ungated, which I'll just link in the top right hand side of the screen. But obviously if we are gated in this product, that means we can't sell it, or we'll have to do some work to get ourselves gated. So what we'll do is we'll head over to Amazon. Now we just need the ASIN as well. So this is on Amazon seller account here, and we'll go to add a product. So straight away we can see that we are gated in this one. Now this is just on a test account I've got and it's not a live one. But if we was to have a quick look at this, so it says new and it says applied to sell. So applied to sell there, that means it is gated, so we couldn't sell this product. Now, if we click onto this is gated in the Hot Wheels brand. So it's not a category gating, it's a brand gating. Now it isn't that difficult to get ungated in categories or brands, but it does just mean that you do need to do some work. So immediately right now we wouldn't be able to buy this product because obviously we couldn't send it in. It probably takes a couple of weeks to get yourself ungated in a certain category, but it's really important to be checking whether you can sell it right at the start before you do too much analyzing, because the last thing you want to be doing is spending a large amount of time looking at all the data to then go and buy the product and realize that you can't actually sell it. So it's really important to check after you've checked the sales, after you've checked it's profitable, make sure that you check and you can actually sell it. Now, we are just going to skip this and imagine that we can sell this so we can move on to step 4 in this video. So the next thing we want to be checking is how many other sellers are there and how much stock do they have. Now, this is obviously important because that is your competition. And the thing is with Amazon FBA is competition is very fierce, and the last thing you want to be doing is competing against a huge amount of sellers or sellers who have a huge amount of stock. So there's 2 things we're going to be doing here. Firstly is just checking the types of sellers on the listing. So if we just head over to the Profitl Chrome extension, we can see right now Amazon aren't on this listing, which are great. There are 4 FBA sellers, so fulfillment by Amazon sellers. These are the ones you're going to be competing with. And there's 3 FBM sellers. Now, this is absolutely fine. Under 5, not a problem whatsoever. Over 5 to 10, it needs to be a good buy really. Anything over 10, it needs to be a really, really good buy. But this one, 4 other FBA sellers, we can 100% compete on that. So now we need to have a look to see how much stock they've got. Now, there's a free Chrome extension we use, which is called the Online Seller Add-on. I'll put a link to it in the description. And all you have to do is just click here and wait for the data to load. So now the data's loaded and we can see there's 171 in stock in total. But the really, really good thing about this product is that almost all of the stock is with an FBM seller. A1 Toys is actually where we're going to be buying it from as well. The only ones we're really taking any notice of is these FBA sellers here. So these 4 FBA sellers, so this top one here has 5 in stock, this one here has 3 in stock, this one here has 2 in stock, and this one here has 1 in stock. Now, we're not worried about the FBM sellers because Amazon will always favor FBA sellers. So this is really, really promising because these other sellers don't have a huge amount of stock. Because the issue is, if you're competing with other FBA sellers who have a lot of stock, you know, they've got a lot more in line. They're also probably going to be buying it for cheaper because obviously they're getting volume discounts as well. So the fact that these 4 other sellers only have 10 items or 11 items in total, that's a really promising sign, and that backs up that so far this is looking like a really good product. So step 5 in analysing our FBA deal is looking at the price graphs. Now this is probably the most important one, if anything, because we use it to, as I said earlier, to just to confirm it is selling, and secondly to make sure we're not going to get undercut or reduce the chances of getting undercut, or just looking at the history of the price, who's been on the listing, whether Amazon have been on the listing. So what we're going to do is head over to Profitl and just click the 365-day graph here. So now we've got the graph up, we're going to be looking at 2 lines, the sales rank line, which is the green one, and the buy box line, which is the pink one. So we'll start with the sales rank line, which we're just using to confirm it's selling. Now, the basic way of looking at this is that typically a drop in the line will indicate a sale. So obviously, as you can see, it's going up here, it's not been selling, then it's dropped, and then it's been going up, drops. It's typically indicating sales. Now this isn't an exact science because there's many things which can affect this line, but the movement in the line indicates sales typically. Now we can see that more recently it's definitely been selling more, hence it's been lower and the movement has been a lot higher. On these longer arches here, this probably means a period of slower sales, but just recently it's been selling more, which is a really good sign. So we can back up that this probably is selling, I reckon, between 30 to 50 units a month, which marries up with this data here. Now what we're going to be looking at is the buy box line. Now we're using this to check about getting undercut and just to see who's been on the listing. So the first thing we're looking for is whether Amazon had been on this listing in the last year, and we can see they haven't been. If Amazon were on the listing, there would be an orange highlighted line, not this orange line here, that just means an FBA seller. The whole area would be highlighted so that we can see within the last year Amazon haven't been on the listing, so that's a great sign. Now, Amazon being on the listing isn't a deal breaker whatsoever, but the issue is with Amazon, obviously they've got such more scope to have a very low price, and they're very hard to compete with. Now you can compete with them, and they will share the buy box as well, but you just need to have a really high selling profitable item to be doing that. If Amazon had been on this listing, we may back out of it, mainly because the profit isn't huge. Obviously 40% return on investment is great, but it's only a £2 profit because obviously it's not a very high buying price, so it doesn't leave us a huge amount of scope to sort of change our price and move around. But the fact Amazon haven't been on this listing is great. Now what we're actually looking at is over the last year is what the prices can be. Now, it's slightly alarming the fact that this price has gone for a period of £6, but it was for a period of perhaps 2 weeks, and its average price has probably been about £11. So there was quite a long period here of the product being about £10, and then this time last year it went for about 8 months of probably being about £12 to £12.50. Now, because this product has been cheaper, and obviously because it has spent a period of around £10 where it would probably just be about break even for us, we would have to think very carefully about going for this deal. Now, personally, because it's quite a low cost item, it would probably be worth going for it. If you're new to FBA, you may want to stay away from a graph like this. You know, we can see that other people are willing to drop it down to £10, and if we put the price to £10 down in here, you know, we can see that the profit is only 38p. So you really have to be weighing up the pros and cons. But obviously, if you're in a more fortunate position where you don't need to sell it so quickly, you know, you can probably hold out for a slightly higher price. Now, the only ones you do really want to avoid is if the price has been really low the whole time. So for example, if this product had been, you know, this price, so £6 for, you know, a period of 6 months, and within the last couple of months, the price has increased, they're the sort of ones where you probably want to stay away from. The positive with this one is obviously that the £6 here was for a very short amount of time, so it's probably not anything to be too concerned about. Obviously it has been £10 as well, but the average price has been about £11, and with the fact that there's not much stock with the other sellers, there's definitely great scope that if we sent this in to Amazon, that we could sell it for about £12 without too much issue. So the sixth and final part that we're going to be looking at once we're happy with all the data is if there's any warnings that we need to be aware of. Now, obviously you don't have to do these in these steps, you know, you can do them alongside each other, but just for this video, obviously it's a bit easier to break them down into steps. So this last one is about the warnings on Profitl. So there's 3 warnings really that you'll be looking at. Only 2 mean too much in this case. So we've got IP risk, hazmat and oversize. Now, what does each of them mean? So IP risk, that means intellectual property risk, and it basically means that you could get an intellectual property violation for selling this product. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it's just a risk, just to give you a warning that this brand may not want you selling their product. So it's very important to remember that just because you can sell it on Amazon, because you might not be gated, doesn't mean that brand actually wants you doing it. So if this comes up in red here, this is just something we'd look into a bit more detail. An IP violation on an Amazon account is not good at all, especially if you're new. So you probably want to be staying away from these, or at least being very careful. So the next warning we're looking at is hazmat. So this basically means it's a hazardous material. It's in Amazon's sort of dangerous goods category. This is typically things with batteries, like battery packs, can be like nail varnish, you know, items with chemicals and things like that. Most products won't be like this, but it's just another thing to bear in mind. You do have to be a part of the hazmat program in order to sell them. So, you know, you don't want to be buying a product, go and send it into Amazon's warehouse and then realizing you can't because you're not allowed. So that's just why you want to be checking this one. And then finally is the oversized warning. This one you don't have to worry about too much. Obviously, if you get an oversized item, you should still be able to send that into Amazon's warehouse. The only thing to bear in mind is that the FBA fees might be massively increased, and also the storage fees as well are very high on large items. So if you've got an item which is a bit more of a slower mover, just bear that in mind, because you might be being charged a bond for just keeping it in Amazon's warehouse. So those are the 6 main things that you should be checking when analysing your FBA deals. Now, there are a few smaller things as well which you may want to look at, you know, such as product reviews, how many reviews it's got, its star rating, because you don't want products with high return rates. You will find as you analyse more FBA deals, it will just become second nature, really. You'll be able to spot out a good deal just like that, and you'll be able to weed out a bad one as well, just from looking at the surface data.
How do we actually buy them? What is the process of sending them in and packaging them up and things like that? So when you're first starting, I would recommend to not go too mad on the amount of units you're ordering, just while you're learning the ropes. Probably 10 is a good amount to start with. If you found a product, buy 10. So the way it will work is basically you'll order 10 on the website to your home address. Now the nice thing about online arbitrage is that you can just reuse the same packaging it was sent in. You don't need to worry if it's got the retailer's details on the box. Just remove the invoice from the box, check over everything inside, make sure nothing's damaged or anything like that, because obviously if it's damaged you need to be sending it right back to the retailer. So make sure it's not damaged, remove any pricing or anything like that, and then just reseal it all. Now some lines you might need to put in a poly bag. If it's not got if it's like a plush toy and it's not got proper packaging, you might just want to put that in a poly bag or something like that just to protect it. Some products you have to put in a poly bag. More in the beauty category, they must be in a poly bag. So some of the things you're going to need is tape, poly bags. You might want to get some other boxes as well. If you need to change anything or if the box is damaged. Or anything like that, but there isn't a huge amount you need to get just because you're being able to reuse the packaging. It's already been sent in.
Okay, so here I am on my Amazon seller account. I'm just on my home page where we're going to be adding the products into our inventory, arranging the shipment and so on. So let's start off. I'm just going to get my first ASIN here for my first product I purchased and put it in here. So as we can see, we're not gated in this, so click new, sell this product. So here we are on the offer page. We'll just add the information. So first up we have the seller SKU. SKU means stock keeping unit. No one else can see this other than you. It's just to help you manage your own stock. So we're just going to call this product 1 today. Standard price, we don't need to worry about this too much. We'll just put it in at £7. What we can do is that once it arrives into Amazon, we'll sort the pricing and optimize it and set up Amazon's free repricer just so it adjusts accordingly. Country or region of origin, for here I will just put China usually. This isn't something which is checked, and most of the products do come from China. Item condition new, and then fulfillment channel, I will ship this item myself. That's merchant fulfilled or Amazon will dispatch. Fulfilled by Amazon, that is the one we'll be going for. It doesn't really matter, you can change it later on, but we'll just be doing this. Click save and finish. So we can now see on this product what do we have to use for the barcode type. So on this product we need an Amazon barcode, so this means we'll need to actually print the barcode. We can't use the barcode on the product, not a problem whatsoever. Click save and continue. Now I'm not going to create the shipment just yet, I'm going to do this later on. So now we're going to add the next product in. We'll just get our ASIN just here again, not gating this one. We obviously always check this before we did purchase the product, so we'll click new, sell this product. Great, now we'll do seller SKU, so we'll go product 2. Your price, again, doesn't really matter, so we'll just put £7 in here. We will change this when they start to arrive in Amazon's warehouse. Country or region, again, we'll just put China in here. Condition new, and again, we'll get Amazon to dispatch them because we'll be using an FBA service. And click save. Amazon barcode again, so we're going to have to put another barcode on this one. And again, we're just going to come out of here because we're going to do all of the product in one shipment, and we can do all the labeling at once. It just makes it a bit easier. And then finally, we've got our wand. So we'll click new, sell this product, and we'll go product 3, country of region of origin, China. Your price again, not too bothered. We'll just put in £17 for now, which is just similar to the price up here. Condition new, fulfillment channel, Amazon will dispatch and provide customer service. Great, save and finish. And again, we have to use an Amazon barcode on this one. Quite often what happens, you get the option for the Amazon barcode or you can use the manufacturer barcode. If you use the manufacturer barcode, that means that you can use the barcode already on the product. Like here, for example, you see the barcode on there, you could use this one, but only if Amazon allow you to use it. Now, if you do get the option to use one of these barcodes, we would still recommend not to do it. We would always recommend to use Amazon's barcode. And the reason we say that is because of something called commingling. So commingling is where all of the seller's products are grouped together. And if you had the buy box and you sold a product, somebody else's stock could get sent. And obviously if that seller doesn't keep their stock in as good condition as you, that means you might be more likely to get a return. So it's really important to use Amazon's barcode, because if you do this, then they won't be commingled. Your inventory will be your inventory only, and they won't get sent out to anyone else. Okay, so we can now see all of these products in our inventory. So we've got the wand, we've got the pen, and we've got the shampoo. We now want to send this into Amazon's warehouse and arrange shipment. So we're going to go up to the inventory page and click Manage FBA Shipments just here. and we're going to see up here it says send to Amazon, so we're going to click this one just here. Okay, now let's work through and set up this shipment. So first we're just going to select all these products, and we're going to need to select all the prep requirements. So first we've obviously got the shampoo, so we just need to click up here. So this one would need a bit of prep just because it is liquid, so you can see the prep guidance here. So it's going to need to be placed in a poly bag, which we have already. Bags must have a suffocation warning, which we have the stickers for, and they must be secured, and that's not a problem. And then the barcode must be scannable, which is nice and easy to do. So when we'll click save like so, who preps the units? We're going to prep it. Who labels the units? We are going to prep it. So we always recommend to do all the prep yourself, just because Amazon are going to charge you if they need to prep it. So it's much easier doing it yourself. So then we'll click save like so. Okay, now we'll do this one for prep. This one, no preps needed. So we'll go no prep needed, save. We're going to do the labels again. And then this one, again, no prep needed, so nice and easy. So the only one which needs prep is the shampoo, which isn't a big deal whatsoever. We just need to put it in a poly bag and put a sticker on it for suffocation warning, basically. Now, you'll see up here on the shampoo, we do need to add the expiry. So we're just gonna get the bottle, and we're just gonna try and find the expiry date on here. So we can see this expires in 2025, so we have to go quite far ahead. So now we need to put in our units. So we've got 5 units of these. We've got 5 units of these, 5 units of these. We're going to click ready to pack, ready to pack, ready to pack. And now we can move on to the next step and click pack individual units. Okay, so now we've got our pack group. So this, all products are going to be in one box. You know, we haven't got a huge amount of stock, so it's really easy to send them in just in one box. You'll see all the products just here. So you'll see packaging information, how many boxes will these fit into? So everything will fit into one box like so. And then we'll just click confirm. Okay, so our box dimensions are 31 by 23 by 15 centimeters. We have already weighed the box as well with the products in, and it's going to be about 4 kilograms to send all these in. So then we'll just click confirm packaging information, confirm and continue. Okay, now we need to confirm the shipping, so we're just going to click confirm the date as today. I'm going to use Amazon's partner shipping, which is down here. So you see UPS Amazon partner shipping, and it's £2.95. So it is really, really reasonable to send all these in. So that's just 19p per product to send in. So it doesn't cost much at all, and it doesn't eat into profit too much. Now we'll just go back through and just make sure everything does look okay. So we've got one box, 3 SKUs, 15 units weighing 4 kilograms in total. And we're just going to click accept charges and confirm shipping. So now the shipping is confirmed, I'm going to print these labels, and we also need to print out the barcode, so we'll do this all at the same time. So right here on screen you'll see the UPS labels, so we're going to need to print these out. If you've got a label printed, great. If not, you can just print it onto A4 paper, just cut it down a bit and then stick it onto the box, but I will show you all about doing this next up. Now it's really important to make sure you remember to get the barcode labels, because it is quite easy to forget doing this. So to get the barcode labels, we're just going to head up here and click on the pack individual unit section. You can do this right at the start, or you can do it at the end. I always do it as the end once you have confirmed everything. So all we're going to do is head over here where it says click view contents. Now you don't want to be using these ones to print labels. Now if you do that, it's just going to include the labels for this product here on the page. So you'll see, if we load that up, you'll see it's only got these products. Obviously we want to do these all at once to save paper firstly, just because it's easier. So all we're going to have to do is click this one up here, print all SKU labels, and just like that you'll see all the products are on one sheet all together. So now we've got the barcode labels and we've got the UPS labels. We now want to arrange a shipment with UPS. Now you don't have to arrange a shipment with UPS, you can drop the products off yourself. However, you do get free collection, so obviously it can be a bit of a pain heading over to UPS with all your products, obviously, especially if you've got a large amount of products. So if you want to arrange a free collection, it's really easy to do, which I'm just going to show you right now. So to do this, you need the UPS label, and you need to head over to UPS collection. So schedule a parcel collection just here. Firstly up here you'll see shipping labels questions. Do you have pre-printed UPS shipping labels for your first shipment? Yes, we do. And this is the section where we need to add in the tracking number. And so we can get the tracking label either from the label itself just here, or you can get it back from Amazon just here. So we're going to put copy this, paste it into here. And as you can see, you'll get a note. You enter the tracking number that can be used for a prepaid on-call collection. No further payment is required. So it's great, shipping is not much, and you can get free collection. So next up, all you have to do is fill in all your personal details, so your name, your address, where the collection's from, what is, how many packages you've got, the weight. So basically just repeating what you've already uploaded to Amazon. You can then set your date just here, when you want it to get collected, and then UPS will come collect the parcel, and before you know it, it'll be on its way to Amazon's warehouse. So now we've arranged a shipment, we now need to package them up. You can start doing this before you obviously arrange shipment, because you're going to want to know what the weight is and the box dimensions. But obviously we're going to need to label the products, we're going to need to put barcodes on the products, we're going to need to label up the box and so on. So I always do this at the end, so let's get into it. Okay, now we've arranged a shipment and we have printed off all the label and we've got all the bits we need to package this up. So we've got the products, we've got the barcode labels, we've got the Amazon labels, we've got the poly bags with the suffocation labels. Finally, we've got the box we're going to be sending it in. So we're going to start off with the barcode labels, and as I mentioned earlier, we recommend to use barcode labels on all your products rather than using manufacturing labels, even if that is an option. So starting up, we're going to take our first label like so. So we've just got some label paper. Now you can either put these labels on the outside of the products or on the outside of the poly bags. Only one of our product needs to be poly bag, which is this shampoo. I'm going to be putting the label on the outside of the poly bag. So let me just show you quickly how that works. So got our product, got a poly bag, we will stick it in there like so. We'll obviously seal this properly, and all you have to do is just make sure it's really nice and clear for Amazon to read. So we will just put that on the outside like so, and just like that, you can put it wherever you like, really on the bag, it doesn't matter so much. Now on a product which doesn't need poly bagging, like we've got this pen just here, we'll get our label. Now we can see that we've already got the barcode on here, so we're just going to cover this one like so. Ideally you might want to just a slightly smaller label than I've got here, but it's not a big deal. And we just want to make sure that the Amazon barcode is nice and clear and it just looks just like that. We now have our box of products. Next up we need to put the UPS label on. When you're printing UPS labels, you'll get two labels. You'll get one for the outside, one for the inside. So this is our one for the outside. So we're just going to put that, hold that up like so. Now here you will see the actual outside label. If you've got a barcode printer, I do have a barcode printer. I just thought it'd be easy to show on a normal printer just because most people won't. So if you've got one like this, obviously it's going to be on a full-size paper. So all we'll do is we'll just fold it up nice and neatly, okay? Now it's the correct size. And now we're going to want to package the box up. So we're just going to seal this down like so. So if using sellotape, if you've got proper tape, perfect, but if not, it's really not a big deal. So now this product is nicely sealed. And finally, all we're going to do is put the UPS label on like so. And there's our box ready to go off to UPS. So now they'll be collected by UPS within a few days. Obviously you can drop it off if you'd prefer to do that, but it is quite often easier just to get UPS to collect it. The two types of account we have, the individual account and the professional account. Now what are each of these? So the individual account, Amazon say if you are selling less than 35 items. Professional account, that is basically for anyone else. How much do both of them cost? So the individual account, you don't pay a monthly subscription for it. You just pay an additional 75p for every single item you sell, and that's on top of all the other fees as well. With a professional account, you pay £25 a month plus VAT, so it's £30, but you don't pay anything extra for selling on Amazon. Obviously you still have the referral fees and the FBA fees, which I'll break down in more details, but you don't have the added cost of the per item fee. Now which one should you pick? I would 100% recommend going on a professional plan from the very outset. The thing is with FBA is you can't do it half-heartedly, you do have to go all in. If you don't, you will struggle to get sales. Also with the individual plan, you're unlikely to get the buy box, and without the buy box you won't be getting any sales. So the next fee we have is the referral fee. So the referral fee is the fee you pay to Amazon for just selling your products on their platform. So every time you sell a product, whether you're FBA or FBM, which is where you're sending out the product yourself, this is just a fee you pay to Amazon for advertising and then having that sale come through Amazon itself. Now the referral fee is different depending on which category you're selling in. If you have a quick look on the screen now, you'll be able to see all the different fees. They start from about 7.14% and they go all the way up to 15.3%. The average probably is about 15% on most of the good categories, but obviously some are lower, but it does all depend on each category. There's also a per item minimum referral fee, which is 25p, and some of these categories do have a different percent depending on the price of the item. For example, in baby products it's 18.16%, for sales up to £10 and 15.3% for products with a total sales price greater than £10. So the next fee we have is the FBA fee, the Fulfillment by Amazon fee. Now we always recommend to use FBA just because you have a much higher chance of winning the buy box. Some sellers do use FBM, but personally FBA is always the way to go. So obviously there is a fee involved with this. This fee covers sending it out to the customer and everything in between. So the FBA fee is covered under two parts. You've got the small and light program and then just the standard program. So the FBA small and light program is basically for smaller items which are priced under £9, and this just means that they're obviously cheaper for Amazon. So if you have a quick look on the screen now, you'll be able to see a breakdown of these fees in the small and light category. Please feel free to pause it if you need to have a look at it in a bit more detail, but as you can see, it's a very cost-effective method of sending products out to your customer. And then next we have the standard size and the oversized. So this is just dependent on the weight and on the size of the parcel. Again, if you have a look on the screen, you'll be able to see a full breakdown of these fees. I will also link all of these in the description as well, so if you want to have a look at them in a bit more detail, please head to the description and you'll be able to find them all in there. So next up we have the prepping fees. Now this is one of the fees which you can avoid, which I would strongly recommend to avoid, but it obviously all depends on your situation. So this fee is for Amazon for preparing your products for sale. So there's a few parts to this. So the first one is the label service. So a lot of your items which you're selling on Amazon will need a label. Now, not all products will need a label because you can quite often use the manufacturer barcode on a product, but on some lines, the only label you can use is one provided by Amazon. If that is the case, you have to print it off and stick it on each of the products. So if you have a look at my screen now, you can see the pricing for this. So it's all dependent on the size of the parcel. So the next one is the bagging fee. I'm sure if you've seen my videos before, you've heard me talking about poly bags and how important they are. A lot of items will need to be put in poly bags. So this fee covers Amazon doing that for you. And then you've got the least likely to be used fees, which are bubble wrap, taping, and opaque bagging. Most of your products, you won't need to do this. These are really, really easy to do at home. So if you're gonna use any of these, probably the only ones you would use would be the label service and maybe the bagging. But as I mentioned earlier, we'd strongly recommend do this all yourself. It will save you some good money and it's really, really easy to do. So the final important fee we have are storage fees. So you do have to pay Amazon for keeping your products in their warehouse. This is why you want to be trying to find products which are selling really quickly, because obviously the quicker they sell, the less time they are in the warehouse and the less money it's going to cost you. So again, on the screen, you should now see all the pricing for the monthly storage fees. These fees are charged between the 7th and the 15th day of the month. If you're selling hazmat items, then these fees are increased as well, which again, if you have a quick look on the screen, you'll be able to see these fees. Hazmat basically means dangerous goods. So this might be things with lithium batteries in, so battery packs, or it might be things with chemicals in, so nail varnish, for example. So these fees are slightly more expensive just because Amazon has to do more regulation to store these products. So that's the main fees summed up. There are some other smaller fees which you may want to know about. These include return fees and disposal fees. But the main ones you need to worry about is your subscription, the referral fees, the FBA fees, and then the storage fees. And obviously the prep fees are an optional one which you don't have to use. The website we're going to use is one called Harrison's Direct. Now you may be familiar with this already. They do quite a large range of wholesale products and it's very easy to create an account with them and it's free to create an account as well. The nice thing about Harrison's is that they have a really large range of products. So it starts from health and beauty, stationery, toys, gifts, confectionery, household. So what that means is that it gives you a lot of opportunities to get a lot of things ungated, because you know, as you start selling on Amazon FBA, you'll notice that a lot of things are gated, and this is one way to really open up your selling. So as I say, we're going to be doing Playmobil today. So the first thing we're going to be doing is obviously needing to find a product within this category on here. So I found this Playmobil Special Agent with drone. So what we want to be doing firstly is checking the requirements on Amazon. Once we've found the product, so we just want to be checking the requirements on Amazon. So if we just copy this title and head over to Amazon and paste that in here. Now it's really important to make sure that the product you found is the exact same product. If it's not the same product, it won't get ungated. So we can see that is exactly the same product, so that's brilliant. So when you are gated, what you'll notice is that right here it says apply to sell. So we'll click new and it says apply to sell. Usually you can just list items if you're ungated, but on this one we've obviously gated in it, so we've got to click apply to sell. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that. Okay, so we can see here that this account doesn't qualify. Now, you may notice on some lines that you can get automatic approval just by clicking this. So if we click request approval, but on this one we don't, which is to be expected. So what we want to be doing now is reading the information on what Amazon need to get to ungate us in this. So at least one purchase invoice for products from a manufacturer or distributor. So we've got that bit covered. We're getting that from Harrison's. So the requirements that this must meet is that it's dated on or after the 6th of June. So within 180 days. It must include your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. So basically, when you order that product, you need to send it to the same details which you've set up your Amazon account. They need to match exactly the same. Next up, it needs to include the name and address of the manufacturer or distributor. So this will be Harrison's in this case. And then just after that, we've got show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. It must submit price information. Now that's optional. And as it says here, please note that they may verify your submitted documentation by contacting the product vendor, so that would be Harrison's, but that's not a problem whatsoever because we are actually buying the product. Now, you may also notice on some lines, it's usually more typically in an actual category. They may ask for photos of the product, where they ask for photos of all sides of the product, and it must include the maker's address details basically. So you'll notice on any product you buy, it will have their head office address usually on, so it needs to include that. And then that is typically only on sort of main categories, so toys or beauty. You don't really see it as often on the branded ones, but it does happen from time to time. So if you do spot that, don't panic, that's not a problem whatsoever. So we're going to head back to Harrison's now and start working our way through this. So the thing I'm just going to start on is the show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. So what that means is that you don't need to buy sort of 10 boxes of anything. It needs to be 10 individual units. So as we can see on this product here, this is a case size of 5. So this has got 5 units. So in this instance, what we'll be doing is we'll be having to buy 2 to equal 10. Now you don't need to buy any more than that. Obviously, if you've got a case size which includes more than that, that's absolutely fine. Add to basket. Brilliant. So this is now in our basket. So the next thing for us to do is to obviously wait for the item to arrive. So as I say, when you're checking out, make sure that you're using the exact same details as what's on your Amazon account. If you don't do that, you will have problems. So that's really important to make sure that the address, the name, the company name, however you've set up your account, make sure that it is identical, because if you don't, the chances are they'll reject it, and what that basically means is that you'll have to start the whole process again. So it's really important just to sort of take your time when you're doing this, because it will just save you a lot of work later on. So we're fast forwarding now, and the item has now arrived, and we now need to fill in the rest of the information. So the best thing for you to do is basically to make it as clear as possible for the Amazon support staff. So you basically want to make it very, very obvious what you're doing. Very, very obvious that it's 10 units, very obvious that it's the right product, and just basically highlight all the information they're asking for. So the first few bits are simple. So the invoice that you get will include your name and address, which will be matching your selling account. It will obviously include the name and address of where you're buying it from. That will be including it as well. So show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. So what is advisable on this is actually highlighting the fact it is 10 units. So for example, on this one, this is going to say, because it's a case size of 5, this is going to say 2 times 5 on the invoice. So what you want to be doing is basically highlighting the fact that it equates up to 10. So a really good thing is to circle the actual quantity. So circle where it says 2 times 5, then draw a little arrow and highlight the fact that this equates to 10 units. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when you're being asked if you do need to take photos of a product, when you're being asked to do that, that's just another thing which you want to make really simple for them. So if they're asking for the address of the manufacturer as well for the actual product on the box, just highlight everything for it and just basically make everything as clear as you can. So once you're happy, you've added all the information you need to add, it's now time to obviously submit the information. Now it can take a little while to hear back, it's usually quite quick, but it really does depend on the time of year and what's going on. If Amazon do reject your first go, do not be disheartened. This is very, very common. It happens quite a lot. The important thing that you want to be doing is working out why they rejected it. Basically, they'll give you basic information, but they don't give you a huge amount of information as to why it's happened. So just sit back and reflect as to why it is they might have rejected it, and then basically make it clearer for them and resend in whatever you need to do it. It can take 2 attempts, it can take 3 attempts, it can take 4, but eventually you will get ungated.
This should be pretty easy, really, as long as you are analysing your products properly and looking at all the data and making sure the pricing points are correct. It shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So as I mentioned earlier about the buy box is the key to basically getting the sales. If you don't get the buy box, you're not going to get any sales. So on every listing, you want to be making sure you're getting that buy box. Now, there's a couple of methods you can go down. You can use Amazon's free repricer, where you undercut the buy box. I personally now probably wouldn't recommend to use this method. You're much better off sharing the buy box, so just matching the buy box price. So basically what Amazon do is if there's 2 sellers who have got the same price, they will share the buy box between the 2 sellers. As long as they're on a similar level account wise, they will share that buy box. So you know, for some time the other seller might have it, but then you'll be getting the buy box and you'll get the sales. And then it will go back to the other seller and then they'll give it back to you. So that's why, rather than getting in a pricing war and driving the prices down, obviously if you keep undercutting the other seller, they might undercut you, you're going to undercut them until you get to your minimum price and you're not going to be making much profit. So you are going to find listings where people do that anyway. Not much you can do about it, sadly. If you do see a pricing war, wait for everyone to sell out. It's by far the best way. You know, you don't want to be getting into pricing wars on Amazon if you want. Sadly, a lot of people do it, mainly because they don't quite understand the platform. But you know, you're definitely better off matching the buy box and just sharing the buy box with other sellers. You know, there's plenty of sales to go around for everyone. You know, that is the amazing thing about Amazon. That is, there is just so many sales going on there. There's plenty of sales to go around on Amazon. So try not to get in a pricing war. Stick to the route of matching the buy box. You know, unless you think that can win the buy box all the time by being a little bit cheaper, fair enough, but you know, just be very careful not to drive the prices down too much, because it can really hit profitability. How do you scale it up further? So there's a few methods really. We'll start from the basics and then talk about a few more advanced methods. So the basics firstly are obviously the obvious things. So you're going to be wanting to buy more lines. You're going to be wanting to increase the amount of stock you're buying per line, you know, and just trying to increase your sales as high as possible. Now, I strongly recommend to really learn the core basics of online arbitrage first, and try and become as successful as possible. Try and become as consistent. Try and send as many products in as you can. You know, look to other methods of online arbitrage. So you've got things like buying multi-packs, where you, for example, buy 2 of one product, but combining them together, put them in a poly bag and selling them as a set of 2. There's lots of listings like that, which are sets of 2, sets of 3, sets of 4, however it might be, where you're actually buying them individually and combining them yourself as a multi-pack. You've then also got things like bundles, where you're bundling a couple of different products together. There's a lot of bundles out there on Amazon as well. So this is actually where you want to be looking into Amazon more rather than the retail sites, to see what listings are out there in bundles, because there's a lot of really high selling listings on there as well. So that's just the arbitrage method really. And then as you become more experienced, you want to probably start looking into other methods of Amazon FBA. So you've got 3 main methods really. You've got arbitrage, you've got wholesale and you've got private label. So wholesale, that's where you're buying goods from wholesalers in bulk. So the amount you're going to be spending on each stock line is going to be a lot larger. You might be getting better prices, and it is more scalable, but again, it is very competitive as well. You know, a product you might be buying and sending in might be great for a month, 2 months, 3 months, but you know, that wholesaler is going to be selling to other people as well. So it only takes one other person to find that same product as you to jump on your listing, and you can get into a bit of a pricing battle. So, you know, that is the only downside of wholesale, but it is definitely very scalable. And then the third option, and probably the most advanced route, is looking into private label. So private label is basically where you're importing goods from and getting your own brand on that product. So typically you'll buy it from China using Alibaba. You'll design a brand. You'll find a product, you'll design a brand, you'll get your design printed on that product as if you made it yourself. You have to create the listing, you have to generate the sales, you have to do everything basically. It is a very hard method, and it can be very expensive, but if you can pull it off, it can be insanely rewarding and insanely profitable as well. If you look at all the biggest FBA sellers, you know, they are the ones doing private label, mainly because obviously you are getting every single listing on every single sale on your listing. You've got no competition because you own the brand. So, you know, obviously you'll start getting people who copy the product you've got, but you ever worry about people jumping in, undercutting you. So it's a fantastic route, but as I say, it's just a bit more expensive.
So we really hope you found that video helpful, and we hope it gives you a head start with getting your journey going with Amazon FBA. If you were interested in joining Profitl, make sure to check out the links in our description. You can sign up there and you can also find all of our socials. We will update this mini course again later in this year, so let us know in the comments any bits you'd like us to add in. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.